So basically Git is a version control software which is used throughout the industry to, and so right now you guys will be working in groups of 4 and 5, right? So if all of you want to work on the same file, how do you do that? What keeps track of who's made what changes where? So that's basically what Git is used for. So in Git you have, the first thing you have to initiate is called a repository, and the repository, once you initiate the repository, it basically makes something. So Git follows a tree structure, so you will hear a lot of things like branches and things like that, and we'll get to it. So basically when you create a repository, which is like a place to store your project, it will be in something known as the master branch. Okay, so this is master, and suppose I initialize files in it, right? Like this is, say, file1.py, right? And then I have file2.py inside it. So now I have these files, and suppose each of them has a separate functionality, and one of your group members wants to work on this file, right? So the way that what the group member do is, first they will do something known as a pull action. So first you want your local, whatever files you have on your local computer, to be in sync with what is stored online on GitHub, right? So when you do pull, it syncs whatever is there in the master to what you have on your local. So always remember, whenever you start Git, a good habit is just to do git pull. Okay? And then next thing which you should ideally do is do git status. So this line will tell you what is the status on your files, like which files have been modified, or has anyone else made any changes, and should you do something like a pull action if somebody's ahead of you, right? And so now if you want to work on this, you need to do something known as what is called a branch. So instead of editing the master, which is the final, right? This is your final thing. Instead of editing this directly, what you want to do is you want to make a copy of it, okay? So nothing affects, so if you do anything and it goes wrong, nothing affects the main code, right? This still works. So what you want to do is you want to make a copy of it. So basically what you do is, that copying of this is called a branch, right? So you're at the root of your tree here, and then you step over and you make a branch of it, and now you work with your branch. So you do whatever you want over here, right? So you'll have these files, the same files over here. So you'll have file1.py and file2.py, right? File2.py. So now you work with them over here, make any changes you want, and then once you run your test cases on them and you figure out that, okay, this works, and now it's time to put this back to this. So what you do is then you go back and you say, hey Git, I want to merge this branch to master. So then this is where you do the merge operation. Now, what if somebody made another branch of this, right? So suppose two of you are working on it at the same time, so let's call this branch 1, and now somebody makes another branch, right? They had the same copies, file1.py, file2.py, right? You took a branch of it, and then you're like, oh, you know what, I'll just work on it tomorrow. But your teammate already made another branch, made all the changes, and pushed it back. So now you have a different copy of master, right? You have a copy which is one behind, essentially, right? Because this person made another branch, made some changes, figured out that it works, and he merged it to master, right? But you have a different copy of master. So then in this case, this is where conflicts can arise. So suppose in file 2, line 10, this guy made a change and he published it to master. And then you make another change on line 10 and you try to push this over here. So there will be a conflict. And then the point comes where you have to do something known as a conflict resolution, where one person decides what should finally be at that line. So for now, for this project, I'd say if you have no experience with Git, decide who is going to work on which file at what time, and then just do that, right? Like don't try to work on the same file at the same time. And then as you get better at this, then you can look into conflict resolution more. So everybody has a good idea about what Git is now? Any questions? So if you have any questions, just like stop me dead straight and ask. All good? So let's just see a quick demo now, right? Like, and we'll go through all the commands which you need to do all of this. So good practice is never work on the master branch directly. Okay, always make a branch of it, work on that, and then merge that with master. Okay, so let's just, and so so the first step is you need to make a repository, right? So let me go over here and I'll say, hey, you know what, I need to make a new repository. Anybody have any fancy repository names? Okay, let's go with the boring ECE143 Python. And then description is Git demo, right? And if you're working on it right now, you should make it private, I think, and then we'll go over how to. So I'll just make it public for now, and then always initialize it with a README file. So the README file will tell people if they have a copy of your code, it will tell them what your code is doing. And git ignore, I'll just select Python. So basically what a .git ignore, okay, we'll get to this, let me just go with this for now. So now I've created a space like a container to hold my project, right? Now I want to share this container. So the way you do this is you clone it. So the word for this is clone, so I copy this, okay? And I go to my, so this is my home directory, right? Wait, can everybody see what's written here or should I zoom in? Should I zoom in?
Yeah, can you zoom in please?
Okay, let's see, preferences. General. Does anyone know how to zoom in? Real quick. Okay, let's see.
System preferences, display.
Display. This is a way to what? Oh yeah, change the font. Okay, let's do that. Size. Maybe 24. Does that help?
No, wait, go to system preferences, just search for zoom in, search zoom in, yeah, zoom in last screen. You have zoom, yeah.
Command plus.
Use scroll with gesture. Zoom, follow. What the hell do I do here?
Yeah, and then use one of the shortcuts.
Okay. So it's option, command equal to an option, command minus. Hey, okay. Yeah, so now I'm in my, everybody has experience using a terminal, right? Okay, so I'll just, so this is my local directory, so I'll just change to git demo. And over here, so I have a bunch of folders over here, so let me just, so, wait, command option, let's get this in the center, right? So now I'll just do git clone, and then I'll paste the link which I got from here, okay? So once I do that, I just hit enter. It'll say cloning, and like everything is fine. So now if I do ls, you'll see this over here, right? This directory, ECE143 underscore Python. This is the same name as my repository. So once we have that, I'll just go into that, right? And now if I do git status, notice everything it's saying, right? It's saying that I'm on branch master, right? I'm on the master branch. And my branch is up to date with the actual master branch, right? So there's a master branch on your PC, right? And there's a master branch on the GitHub website. So it's saying both of them are up to date. So let's make a file, right? So let's say my file name is file1.py, right? As we said, and let's edit it. I'll say define, give me a function name. Foo. And I'll say, okay, let's just return, because we have nothing better to do. Return 1, right? And I save these changes. So just to check what that we wrote properly to the file, let's do this. So as you can see, the file is, we made the changes, right? And now what you want to, so now you want to tell Git that, hey, you know what, I finished making these changes, just I want to add this file to the repository. So what you do is you do git add, right? And you put the file name, so file1, okay? So what git add does is it tells Git that, hey, this, you start tracking this. And now if I do git status, you see this in green, right? It says new file, and now I want to do git commit, right? So when you commit something, whatever you do, so the -m, the -m flag is like you're adding a message with the commit, right? So basically that message will appear over here. So you can see this, right? This is a message, this is the file. So -m, and I'll say initial commit, or usually you use short forms like IC, right? So it says 1 file changed and 4 insertions, okay? And then I do git push. So the way it works in Git is, let me just open this up real quick. Yeah, I like this thing over here. So this is literally Git summarized. So you have your working directory over here, okay? And when you do git commit, it goes into what is called the staging area. So it's not yet sent over to Git, it's basically staged. It's like, it's about to go. So once that is done, and so you stage files by doing git add, and then from the staging area to go into the repository, you do git push, which will commit it to the repository, okay? So let's just do that real quick. So git push, and it'll give me a bunch of messages. Let me make this smaller. Okay. Yeah. So it's saying that writing objects, everything done, and now everything is updated in master. So if I go back over here, and if I hit refresh, you'll see file 1 is here. And the comment which I sent with it is also over here. So this message is basically used to help other people see what you've done. Like if you made a change in line 10 or you updated this function, you should just probably put it over here. And if I open this file, it has the function in it. So now this is some basic stuff, right? So now let's say that I want to make changes in this file. So the way you make a branch is, so let me just clear the screen. Okay, yeah. So now if I do ls, so there are 2 files, right? Now I want to make a branch of it. So I say git branch, and I call it first branch, right? ANCH. So now if I do, and if I want to, now I'm still at master, right? So if anytime you want to check which branch you're at, you just do git status, and it'll tell you you're on branch master. But now I want to work on the first branch which I've created. So the way you go, you do git checkout, and you type in the branch name. Okay, and now if I do git status, it says on branch, first branch. So now I can do anything I want with this file, right? So let me open it up. Let's say, okay, and I'll come in over here. I'll say return 3 instead. Okay, now I made a change to file 1, and so now we are working on the branch. It's specific. We are not working on the master branch. So if you make any changes, first you have to commit it. You have to add it. So I do git add, right? File1.py, and if I do git status now, so on that branch I've added this file. So on that particular branch I've moved it from the working directory to the staging area of that branch. This is very important. Now you're only working that specific branch. So now you're in that branch, you put in the staging area, now you need to move it to the repository on that branch. So there you do Git Commit, right? So commit will be like minor change in return value, right? And I do Git Push. So when I do Git Push right now, it will give me an error saying that it doesn't know where to push it exactly. So if you do this, so yes, it's saying the current branch has no upstream branch. Why? Because I've only made this branch on my local computer right now. GitHub.com doesn't know that I've made this branch. So for that, I'll just copy paste whatever Git gives me over here. So it's basically saying that, hey, you know what? I need to set this upstream branch and tell Git to create this branch and in GitHub.com, right? So I'll just copy paste this and boom, it's done, right? So now let's go back, and if I hit refresh over here, you'll see that now you have two branches over here, right? So to go to that branch, you can go from here and select first branch, and if I open file 1, you'll see the return value is 3 here, right? And I can again change branch. Let me go to master, and in master the return value is still 1. So now I am one step ahead of master, right? So how do I go back? So how do I commit this branch and update master? So what you do is you need to do something which is known as a pull request. So basically, you're in branch 1, you've updated branch 1, you're saying that, okay, these are the final changes, I need to merge this now. But instead of, so basically the way it works is, you need to send a pull request. So it's basically like telling master like, hey, can you pull this branch into my branch and update it? So that's what a pull request is. So for this, I usually like to use the website because it's way easier. This is where command line kind of gets icky, right? So compare and pull request, right? And you can see over here, right, it says able to merge, because there is no conflict right now. Nobody else has edited the file till now. We'll get into that. So I'll say, okay, create pull request. And then it says all checks pass. This branch has no conflicts with the praise branch because I've been working on the same version which I pulled initially, right? So that is done. I do merge pull request, confirm merge, and that's it. Now if I go back to my code, and now I'm on the master branch, right? Now if I open file1.py, you see there's return 3 over here. So this is how you ideally work with Git, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And as you have more users, for now I'd say just everybody work on separate files at different times. But if you get into a situation where you have to work on the same file, then you will have something known as conflicts. Like I edited the same line and the other person also edited the same line, we both trying to push it to master, right? It's not going to work. So, wait, how much time do we have? Okay, until now, any questions? No? All good? So let's just do a quick example of the conflict thing, right? So let me go back here. So, and where to get status? Okay, so I'm on the first branch still, right? Now I want to go back to master, so I'll do Git Checkout master. And it's saying your branch is up to date with master origin, which is amazing. So let me just clear the screen up a bit. Yeah. So now let me create another file called, okay, I don't want to do file 2. Give me another name, please. Don't give me goo.
File 3.
Alright. Very good.
Nice. Okay, so now I have file 3 over here. So I'll first add this to master. I'll do git add. Oh, so another shortcut is if you have a lot of files to add, you can just do git add and dot. So basically what this dot will tell Git is add everything which is there in my current directory. So if I do this and do git status, there's only one new file it sees, so it says new file, file3.py. I do git commit, I see initial commit, and I do git push, right? Oh, so now you see my local so the error it's giving me is updates were rejected because the remote contains work that you do not have locally. So why? So if I want to print, let's print file1.py, right? The return is still 1 over here. Can you see it? It should be 3, right? So always after any changes are made, every member in the group should do git pull, right? Yeah. And now if I do git status, okay, so let me open file 1 now. Yeah, so you see return 3. So now my local thing which is there on my laptop is up to date with the remote server. So now I can push stuff because we are at the same state, right? So now if I do git push, this should work, yeah. And it's resolving stuff, okay, amazing. And now if you go back over here and hit the refresh button, we have file 3, right? Now let me make another branch. Let's say git branch second branch, right? So now I've made another branch. Now I need to go to that branch. So I do git checkout second branch. So now I'm on second branch. So let me do git status. So you end up doing git status very often because you just want to check what's happening and where you are exactly. So now over here I'll do something like so over here I'm not in the mood to code, so I will just add a comment saying that hey, this is a comment and let's have a contradiction over here. Okay, so I'll save this. So I basically have 2 lines, and now what I need to do, so now let me log in as another user, right? So now I have this other GitHub account over here, okay, and yeah, so this GitHub account is called Purple Couch Mermaid for some reason. I just made that today morning. So I want to clone this repository, right? So I'll just copy this thing again. I'll go over here. So now I'm on a different server, right? There's a different setting over here. So if I do ls, you can see. So I'll do git clone. So it's cloned it away. If I do, okay, so I need to change. So ECE143 ls. So I have file 3, right? If I do git status, it says your branch is up to date with the origin master branch. So now I'll make another branch over here. I said git branch third branch, right? And then I go to that branch. So I do git checkout third branch. So now I'm sitting on the third branch. So over here, let's make some changes. Did we make any changes?
You didn't push the file paging yet.
I didn't.
This is master, right?
Oh yeah, okay. So right now in the master file 3 has nothing in it, right? So now this is a good example. So we've already made some changes in file 3, but I've not pushed it yet. And over here I'll come in and I'll say something like woohoo, for lack of better words. And I'm on third branch, so if I do git, so let me add the file, right? File3.py. So it says modified, you can see it, right? So I've modified the file, I've not created a new file. And then I do git commit -m from third branch, okay, and I do git push. So again it'll give me an error because it doesn't know that I've only created this branch locally, right? So it'll say something like this. So all I need to do is just to copy this. Okay, so username is purple. What the hell was that? Purple couch mermaid. And the password is I've saved it over here. You cannot see that. Unable to access.
Right, so the github.com/adqs, that should be different. Right?
Oh, right. Oh, okay, so I forgot to do one thing. I forgot to add that other person as a collaborator. So let's just change that now. Password saved. Yeah. So I need to add a collaborator.
Yeah, so this is basically to prevent like any random person from changing your repo.
Yeah.
So if there are 4 members in a group, the person who owns the repo has to allow other people to collaborate, and only those people can change or make changes to your code.
So now I'll get an invitation from this. So as you can see, ADQC invited you to make this. So I'll go down, I'll say view invitation, accept invitation. So now this has to, so now even both of us are collaborators on the same project, right? So now if I go back and do this, it should work. Don't need to type again. Open couch mermaid and paste the password. Yeah, so it worked, right? So it pushed everything. So now everything we did was on the third branch, and I'll go back. So now I'm in the GitHub account of Purple Couch Mermaid.
No, it is ADQ.
No, this is the repository, but I am Purple Couch Mermaid over here, right? So I'll go over here to the branches and I'll say, hey, you know what? Can I do a pull request where I'm requesting it? So right now, there's no conflict, right? Because I was working on a separate branch with a separate profile. So I'll go down, I'll say create pull request. All checks pass, this should also, yeah, confirm merge. Awesome. So now the master branch has been updated. And if I see file3.py, it has woohoo in it, right? But now if I go back to my other, this is the other collaborator, right? This is me. So which branch am I on? Git status. I am on the second branch. The file has been modified, right? Now if I do git commit -m something, and I do changes not staged for commit. Okay, sorry. If I do git push, okay, I need to just copy this again. Right? So now my second branch is also updated. I've pushed everything to the second branch. Now what I need to do is, if I go back over here, it'll say create a pull request. So now I have this. Yeah, so you can see second branch. So now if I do a new pull request over here, wait, what? Okay, give me 1 second.
It's pushed, I think. Pushed? Just
Yeah.
name the. Okay.
I pushed it. Yeah. File 3 here. So if I go on second branch, file 3 should have nothing in it. Oh, wait, I haven't pushed it. Git status. I didn't add it. That's why nothing got pushed. Git commit. Okay, yeah. And if I do git push now, yeah. So now, if I go back to my second branch over here, refresh. Yes. You can see this. So this has a separate file, right? Now, master, if I go to master, it is this. So now if I try to push from the second branch to master, there will be a conflict, right? Because you can't have two things you want to put in the same line, in the same place. So let's just try it, right? So I'll go ahead and I'll do a pull request, okay, from second branch. So see, it says can't automatically merge. right? So now the way you do this is one person in the group needs to take responsibility to resolve conflicts, right? So I'll just say create a pull request anyways, and it'll tell me, hey, you know what, you have a conflict, right? And then you go into resolve conflicts. So you click here, and basically here is where now you get a chance to edit everything. So I'll just say that, you know what, remove everything and just say, this is what I want, right? And I go here and I do mark as resolved and I commit the merge. Working. Okay, so now it says this branch has no conflict. So you do merge pull request, confirm merge, and it's done. So now if I go back in code, right? If I look at the master, so I am in master right now, open file 3, yeah, it has this line only, right? So this is how you, basically if there are conflicts, this is how you resolve conflicts. And again, if I want to start working on, right, like I go back to sleep and I come back in the morning, every time go back to your master, git checkout master, right, and do git pull. So you see how it made this changes, and now if I go in the file 3, right, so it was file 3.py, it has this line in it, yeah, and this is what we wanted. So yeah, that's pretty much the Git demo. So remember 3 things. If you ever have to do anything, always git pull first, then do git status to figure out which branch you're on. And if you want to add a file, there are 3 steps, right? First is git add, second is git commit, my handwriting is not that bad, right? And then do git push. And just to reiterate using an image which I like, this is what is doing git add, right? Stage your file from your working directory to the staging area. Git commit is doing this, and then git push is, git add is putting it in the working directory. Git commit is staging the file, is putting the file in the staging area, and then you do git push, it pushes it to your Git repository.
So the way I remember it is, git add is a way of telling Git repository to track your file.
Yeah.
So you can have like thousands of files, let's say Excel files, CSV files in your folder, but you don't need Git to track all of it. Say you have a lot of data, but you only have one file that you need Git to track, just git add that Python file. And like you said, committing it puts it in the staging area, and pushing it pushes to the Git repo.
So now if I go back in the Git demo, this is where I had, right? Suppose I have a folder over here which has data 1, data 2. I don't want Git to track all of this because this might have information you don't want to put on. You only want to keep your code on Git. That's the main goal. So that's why git add comes in handy, right? You can only tell Git, hey, you know what, track this file or track this file. And yeah, that's it. Any questions? You all look confused. Very confused. But that's good. But you have a rough idea about how it works, right? Like the image should be clear, right? Like master, branches, merging, committing. That's all this session should help you get to at least. So, okay, any questions? Done? Okay, awesome. We can move on to discussing the homework questions now, if anyone has any. Where's that screen record thing?
The dot.
That dot went up in here.
The text thing.
This thing? No. That's a VNC.
That's fine. It's alright.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But you said you see the video, right?
Yeah, this video should be there. Yeah, so when you create your repositories, remember to add each other as collaborators on it. Only then you can push and work on the same thing, right? So, I can just give you a quick example. If I do a new repository over here,
Yeah, but later.
Yeah, so once you create a repository, you just go in here, you go to settings, and then collaborators.
I'm
Okay,
sure
let me do
that
it.
big was not your part.
Okay, I'll just go over here. Right, go to collaborators, and then you can add anybody over here. Right? And they'll get a request and they can accept it, and then it's done. Okay, that's it. Thank you. And if this command line thing is too confusing for you, the same thing is available as a GUI, right? So git GUI, and GitHub has it.
Check Git desktop.
Git desktop. Yeah. So Git desktop will have something like this for you. So you don't need to write any command. You just drag and drop your files, and it does everything for you. But if you want to be a true OG, command line.
Yes.
That's the way you do it. Yeah. So that's it.
Also, I think you can see it when you're trying to download a repo. It says either open in Git desktop. Could you go back to 125?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, just click on 125. So if you do clone or download, you have two options. So open in desktop is basically, if you don't have the desktop software, it will automatically prompt you to download it. So whatever we did and showed you here, Adnan was using the command line, you can get the same thing from GUI. It's a bit more intuitive, but after a while when you start pushing like a lot of code, the command line is faster. So if you just want to get used to how the merging happens, you want to see visually what's the difference and all, you could start with the desktop thing and then eventually move on to the command line. Got it?
And initially, don't work on the same files. Try to work on different files and push everything so you don't have any conflicts, because resolving conflicts is a pain. Yeah.